Welcome back. David Hertel in for Elias. Still on Denis Coderre watch. He's meeting with Ensemble Montréal, the elected and defeated candidates from last Sunday's election. I wanted to talk more about this with my good friend Beryl Wajsman, the editor-in-chief of the West Island Suburban. Beryl, welcome to the show.
My dear friend, thank you. Just a correction. The
Yes.
Suburban hasn't been West Island for a long time.
Well-
We covered West Island, Center City, Laval, East End, and we're the second most read newspaper in Quebec after the Journal de Montréal.
Well, there you go.
Just a slight correction.
I sit corrected.
Nothing like Jolan Barrette and Tanguay. Yeah, that was special.
That was special. So, see, it shows you how old I am. I remember the West Island Suburban, but it's much, much more than that, of course. So, Beryl, what do you think Denis will do?
I don't know. My gut says I'd like him to hang around. I think he'll be a good counterweight. We're going to have a lot of damage from a second Plante administration. People forget that under Denis, his personality may not have sat well with everybody. We had this most sustained period of economic growth since the Drapeau years. He went out to the world and got things happening here. His Montreal 375 initiative brought in money. We're a city that has 72% of our tax base coming from property taxes. There's not a city of 1 million people or more in North America that has that. So as people complain about their taxes going up, business and property, they've got to understand that with Mayor Plante, among other things, spending $400 million on extending parkland, there needs to be a counterweight. There needs to be a voice of some kind of a voice for reasonable growth. But I don't know if he will.
So,
but yes, we're all standing by for that.
Yeah, we're all standing. So the question, go ahead.
And yes, I talked to all my friends, and nobody knows which way it's going to go.
No, nobody knows. I've spoken to a lot of different people as well, and it's not clear at all. Now, the only little hint we had was the Ensemble Montréal website. And on that, you still have Chantal Rossi, who's still there, who her picture's up there. So if Denis was to come back, you wouldn't put Chantal's picture up there because that would mean that he's taking her seat. But otherwise, we don't know what's happening.
Well, I can tell you, I've talked to several of the people who, if Denis doesn't stay, would be candidates.
Yeah.
For leadership, interim leadership.
Who?
But several of them, nobody's paying attention to the website this week. Everybody's in meeting.
But who would you see if Denis steps down and doesn't take the seat? Who do you see as picking up the mantle here? Are we looking at Jim Beese? Are we looking at Alan D'Souza? I've heard Christine Black could be a good candidate. I mean, she trounced Will Prosper in Montréal Nord. So how do you see things shaping up if Denis doesn't come back?
I think they all have. Positive attributes. Mm-hmm. Just for me, I think that Jim Bates would be a very interesting choice. He's committed. He's engaged with all populations. He's been there. He's got the seniority. He knows city council. He's a bridge between every community. People have to remember that Montreal is 50.3% non francophone de souche, which doesn't mean non-francophone, but non-francophone de souche. And I'll tell you, you mentioned three mayors in Black, D'Souza, and Bates. Mm-hmm. But if they don't want it, there's an excellent council candidate in Benoit Langevin.
Ah, he's in Pierrefonds-Roxborough, right?
He's Pierrefonds-Roxborough. He's a city councilor, and he's been in the forefront of so many social justice issues: the homeless, the hungry, the vulnerable. He's done remarkable work. So there's some interesting choices.
Speaking with Beryl Wajsman, the editor-in-chief of The Suburban. Got it right this time. So, Beryl, let's move to Simon Jolin Barrette, one of your favorites.
Oh, just, a great public servant.
So the Court of Appeals really slapped him down yesterday on this decision regarding this drug dealer who's going to need a new trial because he couldn't get tried in English. What do you see? Because they don't seem to even be concerned with the Constitution right now. How do you see this playing out 11 months away from a provincial election?
Okay, my take is that a lot of this is kind of, I should say, brilliant politics. So generally, I'm an admirer of Premier Legault. I think that the recent business with Bill 96, I'm one of only two non-francophone commentators who supported Bill 21. I think his handling of the pandemic has been certainly capable. I like the fact that there's a bent in this administration to be anti-particularist in their politics, except when it comes to language and his desire to solidify the
Hold on, Beryl. Anti-particularist. What does that mean?
This is not an administration. It's kind of refreshing. That will not cater to every single screaming diversity. They're trying to, it's like when we had the debate over Bill 21, and I was making the argument that, look, this is a law of general application. Was it our most pressing issue? No. But it's a statement of a society that we're going to stick to universal principles, and we can't satisfy every single group. Unlike the federal government that tries to do diversity for every single group. You can't run a society like that. So he's trying to get the particularism, the religion, out of the public sphere and apply universal principles, except when it comes to language. Blindside for political purposes. What I've never been sure of is whether Jolin Barrette really believes some of this nonsense that he's pushing, or whether he's being used to be the outlier, the guy in the cabinet. Okay, you got the dirty job. You're going to keep the nationalist fringe happy, so you do the dirty work. You talk about the Court of Appeals decision on that case.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, I've had this week, for some reason, toward the end of last week, I've been getting calls from people, seniors, who are calling the Retraite Québec, and they cannot get served in English. And this occurred a couple of years ago again. The instructions when you call don't even give you an option for English. When they finally get to an officer of Retraite Québec, he tells them, or she tells them, whoever they get, that they have to speak in French. Now, they're treating people who built this society, who paid into the system all their lives, who should have droit acquis, acquired rights, and suddenly they're not talking to seniors in English. That came from, if you remember originally, that was an issue some years back when a memo was sent out to all government agencies to use French and French only, and the blowback was so huge, even from the French community.
So do you see on this, I'm running out of time, Beryl, and I really want your take on the Quebec Liberal Party here on this. We're not hearing from them. They're not moving on this. Shouldn't they? I spoke with André Pratt yesterday, former senator, former La Presse editorial writer.
Yep.
Where there's a way to fight this without losing points with the Francophones. Why aren't the Liberals fighting this fight?
I don't think the Liberals have got a long-term policy yet. I don't think they know where they want to position themselves for the next election. They know they're facing a tremendously popular premier, and they don't have the issue. They can't chip away at the armor, and they're afraid of chipping away at this one because that could simply cost them. And I think they're lost.
Well, on that note, that's all the time I have. Really appreciate you coming on this morning, Beryl. Always great to talk to you.
Always a pleasure, David. Anytime.
Have a great weekend. Beryl Wajsman is the editor-in-chief of the Suburban.